Hi students, I'm going to be talking about the assignment, your first assignment, which is to write a letter to Mrs. Milan Gonzalez, which is to me. So let's go over to the next slide. Again, your first assignment will be to write a letter to your teacher. Because we're in this together, I also wrote a letter to y'all as an example, and I'll show you that example in just a sec. Your letter, like mine, should include at least 5 paragraphs. Each paragraph in the Google Doc template assigned to you in the classroom has a number of questions to answer. You don't need to answer all of them, but if you look at my example, you can see which questions I did answer based on my experience in life. This is an opportunity for me to get to know you and to see what kind of writer you are. And then if you hadn't added the Google Chrome extension Read and Write, please do so. It can be helpful. And I'll talk about that too. So let's look at the example because 5 paragraphs sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It just depends on how much you write. But again, this is for me to see what kind of writer you are and also to know more about you personally. So here's my example. And I wrote letter to students and instead of letter to Mrs. Milan Gonzalez. And paragraph 1, introduce yourself to me. Tell me a bit about yourself, how old you are, what kinds of foods you like, music, movies, etc. I wrote, I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. I grew up in a theater family. My parents founded and started Teatro Milagro, so you can imagine there was a lot of drama. Although I grew up in a family of actors, I decided to become a teacher. So I went to BCC to get my associates, then transferred to PSU to get my bachelor's in English, and then eventually my master's in education. I am 33 years old and I am married. I met my husband 12 years ago and we have been together ever since. I like Mexican food and Cajun food, but I can make all kinds of food because my mother and grandmother were into gourmet food. I like so many genres of film, it's hard for me to decide, but both my husband and I share a love of horror films. We also like to play board games, video games, and put together puzzles through these hard times. So that's how I answered those prompts. Let's say yours is not as long as mine. That's fine. That's for the first paragraph. Second paragraph. These are the questions. Describe your family to me. Who do you live with and what are they like? Do they support you and help you with your homework, or do you do all your homework by yourself? Do you have any chores, anything unique, unusual, or difficult you wish to share? This is something that you're writing to me, something I might need to know. So just share what you feel comfortable sharing. Again, I wrote, I am very close to my family because my parents ran a theater business. They often involved my sister and I in plays when we were growing up. They called that cheap labor. My parents always supported my sister and I through our creative pursuits. My sister always wanted to be an actress, but I wanted to be a dancer. Because we were so creative and focused on accomplishing our dreams, homework was always put on the side. Our parents wanted us to do well in school, but they would take us out of school for touring shows we were involved in. Unfortunately, I don't remember doing a lot of homework when growing up, but still got grounded for not being on top of it. I did have chores growing up. I had to mop and clean the whole house when I was little, and all I got was $10 per week. That was my lunch money in high school. If I wanted new clothes for the school year, I would mow my grandmother's lawn. Paragraph 3. So this is kind of hard to answer because maybe some of you guys are not involved in activities this year, but maybe you could just mention which ones you've been involved in, especially with sports. What kinds of activities do you do? Do you play any sports? Do you belong to any clubs? Do you play any musical instruments? How do you spend your free time? Do you have a job? So this is what I wrote based on what I did in high school. When I was growing up, I was not involved in any extracurricular activities because I was already involved in dance group outside of school. As I got older and dancing started to impact my grades, I focused more on finishing school to graduate my hobbies. Then became writing poetry and I did some acting. When I was a junior, I had the opportunity to pursue an internship with the Oregonian over the summer. And then eventually working as an environmental educator at the Oregon Zoo, where I had a 3-year internship. This is where I discovered my love of teaching. I got to work with animals and youth in the greater Portland metro area. So then the fourth paragraph is, what do you want out of this class? What do you think will be the most difficult part of this class or your biggest challenges? What kind of activities of teaching strategies help you learn the best? What kind of activities or teaching strategies hinder your learning? Feel free to use bullet points as needed. I mean, I just, in this case, talked about how I am as a teacher. As teachers, we're always continuing continuing to want to learn so we can improve ourselves as teachers. And I didn't answer all these questions, so answer them the best you can. Again, I wrote, I'm excited to teach and meet all of you over the quarter. Teaching online can be difficult because I do like to work one-on-one with students if you need extra support. I myself am a visual learner, so hopefully my video tutorials will help y'all. So again, I like to watch videos to help me, so that's why I create them. So you can maybe talk about, are you listen to, like, instead of reading, do you like to listen to audio better? You know, explain what kind of learner you are. Again, paragraph 5, what is one thing I can help you do to help your year be successful? Anything else I should know? So for me, from y'all, I hope y'all will provide me feedback as a teacher. Let me know what works in the online classroom and what does not work. I am here to support you all and make your learning experience beneficial, challenging, and accessible. So we are in the process together. Please turn in the beginning of the next class. So that is my example and how I answered each of these prompts. If you don't write as much, that's fine, but at least try to answer them as much as you can so I can get to know you. And also, this is a way for me to see how your writing is. So let's go back to the slide. So the slide says, if you haven't added the Google Chrome extension, Read and Write, please do so. It can be helpful. So this is an example that you will see on your page. And this is what Read and Write Chrome extension looks like. If you don't have this showing up, I can show you how to add it and how to find it. First, go to a tab, hit, and go to Google, and then hit Read and Write Google Chrome. See, I've already Googled it. Then click on this. Now, if it's been added, it'll say Remove from Chrome. If it's not been added, it will say Add to Chrome. So let's go back to that page. If you don't see it, it's going to look like this, not showing up. But if you know you have it and it says it's been added, click on the little puzzle piece up here. Then click on it where it says Read and Write for Google Chrome, and then the bar will pop up. Now let me show you what these features can do and how they can be helpful. So let's look at the word assistance, for example. Maybe I want a dictionary definition. So I look up on the book, it shows me the definitions, and it gives me a few. Maybe I want a visual definition. So again, highlight assistance, and then click on this picture. You want to make sure you X out. And then I'll show you a visual definition of what assistance is. Maybe I want this read to me, because some of you layer audio. Hit this play.
Dear Mrs. MG, paragraph number 1, introduce yourself.
And then hit this pause when you're done listening to it. And then if you want to see everything that's grayed out, come back up again, hit the square, and then you'll see everything. Let's say I want you to highlight something. And there's different colors here. So you can highlight anything in this document in different colors. Again, if you want to remove it, hit undo over here. Let's say you want something translated to you. Highlight it, hit the 2 little arrows, and it'll translate it for you. Let's say you want to, again, look for Read and Write. You know how I Googled it before? Again, highlight Read and Write right here. Then hit this computer, and then the web search will show you, instead of having to Google it yourself, it'll do it for you. So those are some things that you can do with Read and Write. And again, this is your example. So you'll want to answer these questions, write your prompts here, and then when you're done, you can, let's say you wrote your whole thing, you can remove it, so then I just see your writing. And when you're done, you can turn that into the classroom. So make sure you have Google Read and Write extension added, because it's not going to just help you with this assignment, it's going to help you with any other future assignments. All right, have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.